Good morning.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great myself.
Oh, stop. Really?
Yeah.
Good.
So
What are you doing so great about?
today the Buccaneers are playing in Germany.
Is that true?
Yeah, the Buccaneers and the Seahawks.
Germany? I know we played a
Yeah.
game every in London. Now we're doing Germany.
Ja, hij wil gewoon bakken bij Susan snel. Dummkopf, ik blijf in de Flederhausen. Ik blijf in de Flederhausen. Touchdown.
We are certainly working, we mean the American NFL, to globalize this NFL thing. Huh? We've been in
Why?
London for a couple of years, haven't we? For a game every year, it's been a
Yeah,
few
so,
years we've been going to London. Now we're in Germany.
but you know what? From England, they could have gone to Portugal first, and then Spain, then Italy, then Germany. What the heck? I don't get it.
So you're doing like the pro Portugal thing. How about the Azores?
Uh,
Can you fit a football field on the Azores?
yeah, over my grandfather's field,
Old field, yeah, with the rocks and the boulders.
like the cows.
Seems
So
like
when I was a
I
kid,
haven't been to the Azores, as you know, but it seems like a small place, and stadiums are big things.
my grandfather had two cows and a donkey because he used to be like a self-sufficient farmer, right? But sometimes you
Hold
have
on
to
a second. 2 cows and a donkey, and he was self-sufficient with that?
take a self-sufficient farmer. Yeah.
That's impressive.
So sometimes you have to take the cows somewhere to one of his fields so they could eat grass because you didn't have hay all the time for the. And one time I was with him and his dog. He had this really cool dog. The cows were over to the field next to his, and they're trying to eat the corn. They're reaching over the fence to eat the corn, right?
Right?
So my grandfather called the cow by name that was eating the corn, and the dog went chasing the cow and barked and got her away from the corn.
Oh.
The dog knew the cow's names. Amazing, huh?
Were you there for this? Did you witness this firsthand?
Yes, I was there when it happened. Yeah, several times.
Wow.
Like,
It's your
what the heck?
grandfather. 2 cows and a donkey. Chickens? You got any eggs over there?
Sometimes when those guys over there would ride the donkeys, to go to work or whatever, but then after on the way home, they felt bad for the donkey because it's a long trip and so after a while, so they would jump off the donkey and they would walk the donkey for a while to give it a break. So it's not going to sound right in English, but in Portuguese they would say, if you have a donkey and you're walking, you're the donkey.
How would you say that in Portuguese?
Quem tem burro anda a pé, mas burro é. In other words, if you have a jackass and you're walking, then you are the jackass. Something like that.
Well, that's
Well,
very applicable.
who
Very
knew
applicable.
who knew that little story would end up in a podcast like this? It's crazy.
You never know. You never know what's showing up in the no hissy fit zone.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
I just decided a few minutes ago that starting next week on the podcast, you will no longer see this background
Yeah?
because it's time for me to start living in my new house, which is all done.
Well,
Kitchen,
hold on then.
bath.
Let me take
Let
a
me go
picture of it. Let me take a
You better
picture
take
of
a picture. Let me get out of the way. Hold on.
it.
Okay.
Oh, that's too funny.
But I'm thinking next week, so you get to pick. I got a new kitchen, a new bathroom, I got a new laundry room. Which room should I do the podcast from?
I think we should clean up in the laundry room.
It's a small space.
Yeah.
I'm thinking kitchen.
So they're gonna be done next week?
It's kind of done now, but there's a lot of cleaning I got to do. And then there's a lot of it's been a little interesting, which is a better word than frustrating, because I'm so not psyched about all the stuff that got done because I'm so focused. Like my dining room was full of junk that came out of the original kitchen for those guys to get in there and work. And then the living room got full of stuff. And for me to get like a cleaning company in there to do like a post-construction deep clean, I got to move all this crap out before I can even have them in. So I finally did the dining room. The living room's full of stuff. and I got empty boxes. Thank God for the liquor stores with the empty boxes. All the, every time you're going to move or put, I go in there, I grab 4 or 8 boxes. So this afternoon, I'm going to be cleaning out the entire living room. There's a rug on the floor. We're going to throw that away, just to get it cleaned out enough to get a cleaning company in. But the laundry room works, and so I can start doing laundry. Like there's dust everywhere. So bedding, I got to do all that. So next week's podcast, I'll be there.
Now you're making me think here. If you go to the liquor store to get 8 boxes, when you bring them home, are they heavier than they are when you? Is there something in them when you get them?
Oh no, no.
Oh no.
That's a nice service they do. So they empty everything comes in boxes, and then they have the empty boxes, and they just lay them, put them over by the exit door. So if anybody needs boxes, they just take them.
Yeah, I used to do that. I used to go to the grocery stores and get boxes or something.
Grocery store, yeah. From the grocery store, you get that big banana case, but there's a big hole in the bottom because the cardboard comes together and they leave a hole like this big. I can't have that for my stuff. It's going to fall out. Can't do it.
I didn't mean to say that you should use that box. I mean, that's crazy.
Funny thing about a 110-year-old house, though, so it's all done. The bathroom door, which used to be a closet, I had to sand off the back because from the inside of the bathroom, which is kind of white, that trim and the inside of the door needs to be white. So I had to sand the whole thing down, 110-year-old door, with all the varnish off of that, and then prime it, and then paint it. I think it was 5 coats of paint to cover it. I get it all done. The builder screws it back in. We're good. I go inside the bathroom. I close the door. I got a gap this big at the top where the door is supposed to close, and the gap at the bottom, it's a little off kilter. I mean, there's not a right angle in the place. It's 110 years old. So the door to the basement, which is actually the door to the music studio, is the exact same door. I measured it. So I think I had to pull that door off, sand all that down, prime and paint all that, and swap that for the bathroom door. So that when someone's in the bathroom, they have closed door and you can't out.
Wow, so 110 years. How many times do you think that door is swaying back and forth?
Good question.
Don't you have a calculator?
Hundreds of thousands.
No, wait a minute. Let's figure this out.
Oh, let's figure this out. All right. So actually, for a lot of years, it was a closet door, not a bathroom door. It's been a bathroom door for a week. So for 110 years, for 109 years and 51 weeks, it's been a closet door. Those don't get open and shut too often.
I'm going to subtract 2,200 swings in a door.
You're subtracting 2,200?
Yeah.
From what?
It wasn't a bathroom door. You can't use it all.
No, that's my suggestion. So as a closet door, I probably opened it once a week.
Look at this now.
Oh, no. What do we got there?
Somehow.
Who's that?
It's me.
That's
when I was a kid, back in the Azores, looked like a redheaded, freckled kid, didn't I?
You do look like a redheaded, freckled, Portuguese-speaking kid. I can't even tell you don't speak English in that picture.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
What are you, about 11 years old there?
No, because I came over when I was 10, so it was before that. I looked old for my age.
You looked old for your, that's right. You never got carded anywhere at 9. So maybe you're 9 years old. So that's about 3rd grade, I'm guessing.
So there's only 4 years that you went to school. Like public school was 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you went to school Saturday, and you went to school from 7 in the morning to 5 at night. I mean, you learned a lot in those 4 years.
How many times a week did you go for 4 years? Like 7 days a week?
No, 6 days a week.
6 days a week.
So
I learned a lot in those 4 years.
Now here's the deal. This is going to be interesting for you. So 4th grade was all we had. That was public school. After that, you had to go pay to go to college if you want to go to college, right? So when we were coming to America, we had to go to the next island, San Miguel, to get the paperwork and the green card and all that stuff. I missed the exam because there's 2 exams. There was one that was verbal and one that was oral.
Like the SATs.
Not verbal and oral, written.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we went to the other island to get all the paperwork. When we came back, the teacher's knocking on our door, my teacher, saying, "Hey, I know you guys are going to America, but Tony has to go do his exam, his final exam, because he has to have that degree, or whatever you call it, diploma, or whatever." Right?
Fourth grade degree.
Yeah. And she was like,
To come to America.
so my father says, "Well, we can't do it because we're leaving tomorrow. We're leaving to America." He goes, "Well, what time you guys leaving?" I said, "Oh, in the afternoon." He goes, "Well, he can come to the school in the morning and do the verbal test, so he can have that degree that he passed, you know." And I don't know why that was important because
Was to her.
for her, yeah.
I bet
So I had to walk. We had to walk 45 minutes to school.
Main Street School in Hudson probably didn't care.
No, so I had to walk 45 minutes or so to go to the school to do the verbal thing, and then walk home. And she was so
The
happy.
day you're leaving for America, you're going to take a test at school.
Yeah. So this was funny. When I came to America, we came in the summer, and then we
They said, whoa, where's your test results?
I don't know. I passed. That's all I know. So my cousin went to it with us to go to the registers at the school. So they asked, what grade is he in? You know, and I, of course, because they only had fourth grade, so I couldn't say I'm going, you know, fifth grade because we didn't have that. So I said fourth grade. So they signed me up for the fourth grade. So now I go to school, didn't speak a word of English, and the teacher's trying to get everybody lined up with the alphabetical or whatever. I don't know what the heck she was doing, but you know, when it was my turn to
You
go.
walk into public elementary school, fourth grade, and you don't speak a word of English.
Right. So the teacher's talking to me, and then she's calling people up by name, but she called my name, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So now she's telling me to go to the chair that's open. I didn't know what she was saying. Everybody's laughing because I wasn't paying attention or wasn't doing it.
You probably were paying attention, you just didn't speak the language. Oh my God.
So then probably 3 months later, I found out that there was two sisters in that class. They were Portuguese and they spoke Portuguese, you know, very well, and never tried to help me. They just, I guess they were embarrassed about it. I'm not sure what happened.
And they spoke English.
They spoke English and Portuguese, yeah.
Were they from Hudson? So they grew up in Hudson and they grew up in a bilingual home.
I don't know. I think they came over younger, so they already spoke English.
Okay.
But they didn't help me out, so.
So they weren't your friends. And this is fourth grade.
Well, they're friends now, but it took a while for me to let them in, if you know what I mean.
We gotta have a little talk.
So one time when I was up there at the turkey jam, you know, after Thanksgiving, with the betting courts.
Yes, 2 weeks from last night I'll be.
Those two sisters came up to me and they said, "Hey, Tony Cabral, how you doing?" I says, "Good." And I'm looking at them.
I spoke to them in Portuguese and said, "I don't speak English yet. You never helped me."
No, but I could see their face and I knew who they were, but I couldn't really put it in place. So they said, "You don't know who we are?" I says, "Yeah, I do. You're two Portuguese girls from Hudson." You know, I don't know.
The only two.
It was funny.
Well, plus you were the star because they were seeing you up on stage doing your thing. So they were a little starstruck by you. And they're probably thinking, man, we should have helped them in the fourth grade. We could have been riding these coattails.
Yeah, this whole thing with autographs. I didn't have time for that.
All right. So you started school probably like early September, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any recollection of like how, because you were submerged in terms of English. That's not the right word. What's the, yeah, submersion. What do they call that? I think that's right. That's close. How long was it before you were you conversational English? Do you remember getting there?
I don't know exactly, but you know, it doesn't take long to learn a few things.
Yeah, I mean, imagine 3 months later, September, October, November, Thanksgiving. Because you had to learn about Thanksgiving. That's an American deal. Christmas. But by then you were kind of talking to kids at school and understanding the teacher.
And then in Hudson, there's a school.
Immersion, not submersion. Immersion.
Immersion, yeah. So in Hudson, there's a school called JFK, which is
Heard of him.
Most of my friends, the Portuguese friends, were going to that school because they lived in the other side of Hudson. And
Elementary school.
And they even had a homeroom teacher that was Portuguese, you know, so they learned some stuff. But at the school I went to, they didn't have that, so I had to learn the old-fashioned way by, you know. So And I had some friends from school that were, American friends that they taught me a lot of English even after school and stuff. So one day, I don't know how many months ago, but it was a few months later. One time we were in Moulton's Field. It was a place where we watched the guys playing softball.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my friends. There's probably 6 or 7 of them, my Portuguese buddies. They went to the other school. I says, I'm having a strange thing happening in my life. They said, what's going on? I says, I'm starting to think in English. And they all laughed at me because they thought I was stupid. I said, no, I'm serious. They said, what do you mean? You don't think in English? I said, yeah, because I've been learning English and I'm starting to think in English. They thought I was
So in
crazy.
other words, you would think of something, you wouldn't think about it in Portuguese and translate it. You would think it in English.
Yeah, I was starting to do that. Yeah, not totally 100%, but started to thinking in English.
It
They
was
were
just
laughing at me,
happening naturally, but you were aware of it.
but the truth of that whole story is that I learned English before they did because of that.
Yeah.
I was going to a school where there was no Portuguese kids, to speak of.
Immersion. Immersion.
Immersion. I was an emergency for my immersion.
So you got me thinking, JFK, can you imagine how many John F. Kennedy elementary schools there are in America?
Oh, it's
I
36.
passed one yesterday. I was out in the Springfield area on a work appointment, and I passed a John F. Kennedy. I think it was a middle school. But can you imagine how many John F. Kennedy schools there are in America?
36,482.
I'll double check you on the Google machine.
Yeah,
John F. Kennedy elementary schools. What's going to come up here? Here's what I found. Pardon me for one moment.
yes.
This is going to be worth it. John F. Kennedy Elementary School, Franklin, Canton, Somerville, well, I guess it's not going to be worth it. There's a lot.
Yeah, we don't have that much time.
I'm curious about that. I bet there's a way to find that out for Blackstone.
I'm surprised that the woke generation hasn't asked to change those names too, because they're changing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, JFK is probably one of those last ones. Probably.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Look at that. Now be nice, because I'll pull up my crybaby if you don't behave.
I'm pulling the cry, not 2 weeks in a row. We need a little break from the crybaby.
So
I can remember my 7th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Ehrlich. Man, this guy was good. And he just kept us captivated the way he kind of taught the class and stuff we covered. We did like a deep dive on the JFK assassination. And of course, when you think about this is 7th grade. So I guess that makes you about 13, right? 12 or 13. So now we're talking 63, 75, 76. So it's only been a dozen years since he was assassinated.
wow.
And we're doing this deep dive and the whole thing about Dealey Plaza and Dallas and following the limousine and why was the top down. And then, of course, there was a whole, was there a second or a third shooter? And we did it. And I was fascinated by this whole thing. It was very interesting.
So what year did he?
He was assassinated in 63.
63. Okay. So Terry tells me that
63, November 22nd, 1963. I was alive for it.
So Terry tells me that in Lisbon, Portugal, her aunts and her family were crying when he was assassinated because they loved John F. Kennedy.
It was a different time politically. Obviously, it was almost 60 years ago in the world, but the country. And he was this young, good-looking guy, first Catholic president, and he represented this new era of where politics was going. And I think when that happened, it really destroyed a lot of dreams, and there was people, interesting.
And I think that he had done something that made it easier for people to come from other countries, with the proper paperwork legally.
Oh, I never asked you about your legal status, but I'm assuming you're an upstanding citizen. I'm assuming that you're.
Oh yeah, it took us. You have to have somebody that's already in the States back then, and they would write a letter of. I don't even know what the right word is.
Oh,
and then you have to go through all kinds of hoops and stuff, and it was expensive to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
To get the proper paperwork to come over legally.
And your whole family came at once?
Yeah, we all came at once. Yeah.
And how many was that?
Well, 6 kids and 2 parents.
So Maria was there, my favorite podcast viewer.
Yes, that's right. She was there. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Must be interesting. I would be curious to talk to your siblings about their memories of that.
Wow.
You were 9,
I was 10.
10, and where were you in the order of those 6 kids?
Uh,
A lot of kids.
I got three older than me, and 2 younger than me. But I was definitely the cutest out of all of them.
Well, the picture shows that. Plus, you passed your verbal exam at the Portuguese school, so you could leave.
And they all have a good sense of humor, but I think I'm the funniest, to be honest with you. I'm the funniest, but looks aren't everything. You know what I mean?
So we're just talking about still sick, if you can imagine. I got a text message from John F. Kennedy School.
Did you?
So 11/22/63. So this is interesting. I got a good friend of mine named Steve, who is a writer and reads a lot of books. And I try to do a lot of reading. And I read a lot of nonfiction and business and development and all that stuff. But I try to read fiction too, just to kind of keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So Steve, but I call Steve and say, Steve, how many books did you read last year? He's like 28. He keeps a record. I go, what was your favorite book? And he tells me, and I go get that book. And it served me really well a couple of years in a row. I just started doing this a few years ago. He's given me some beauties, but one of them was a book, and I think I might have talked about it on here a long time ago. 11/22/63, and that was the name of the book. You know what the date, which was the JFK assassination day. And this is a book written by Stephen King, and it's not a horror book at all. It's amazing. So there's a little bit of a time travel piece in this, but the premise is this guy figures out, and he's a school teacher, and there's a shore cook at a little diner in town. He develops the characters really well. And this guy accidentally figures out that there's like a time tunnel in his diner to go back to 1963 or 2. And so he's going back and forth, and his concept is, I want to thwart the JFK assassination because he was such a good man. Our country would be better off 50 years later had he not been assassinated. And it was cool. I mean, the book's about this big, but it's a great read. And then I found out it was like an 8-episode Netflix series by the same title, 11/22/63. Really worth checking into.
Wow.
It was good.
We used to read a lot, when we were coming up and stuff. But the last few years, I don't read much at all because my eyesight is really gone. Mm-hmm. And this month, I'm going to go get my right eye is going to get cataract surgery.
That's 2 weeks from tomorrow, Monday, the 28th. Allow me to remind you of your medical appointments.
Thank you.
I start quoting you your dates for your surgeries, then we're good friends. But that's exciting. You're gonna. I mean, my understanding of this is that it's like miraculous immediately.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. My mother had hers done, right? So when she went to do the second eye.
Well, I know she did because she flipped that bottle so beautifully. Couldn't have done that with bad eyesight.
But you know what happened when she got home? She says to my brother, "Hey, who was over here painting the walls when I was at the hospital, or whatever?" He said, "Nobody's painting the walls." She says, "Yeah, everything's a different color," because she couldn't really see the walls before that. Well, it's crazy. Right. And my sister Maria had both eyes done when I was up there for.
Maria did?
She had both eyes. She says, "Tony, it's amazing. You're gonna love it."
So Maria sees the podcast better now than she. That's nice. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you.
But what happens with her is her left eye is the one that's really strong now, and you're on the left side of the screen. That's why she likes you better than me. It's the only thing I can figure.
She's got good taste. Whatever it might be. Could be a couple things there.
Your crystal. What do you call it?
Wait till she sees my new kitchen next week.
Oh, wait till she sees that. Yeah.
But that's interesting because your eyesight gets degraded just a little bit every day to the point where it's just normal. Like your mom suddenly was like, "Look at these walls," and so that's going to be your experience.
Yeah.
You must be kind of excited about this.
Actually, even now, I don't even appreciate mirrors anymore because I used to look at the mirror and say, "Ooh, look at me."
Wow, look at that.
And
Now
now I
it's
look at
like,
the
yeah,
mirror,
that's all right.
I look at the mirror and say, "Terry, have you watched this? Have you cleaned this mirror? It seems like it's all foggy. What's going on over there?"
And you're getting one eye done, and then how much time before the other one?
December
Oh,
12th, I think, or something like that.
so right there. So
Yeah,
in a month you'll have them both done. They don't do both together. That's
no,
not something that gets done.
they can't do that. So, what I understand, you go there, the total surgery process is like 10 minutes.
Right. And they probably put a patch on you because they have to limit the light or something, and then they start to take it off. And then if you
They have
say,
like they have like a clear plastic thing that I guess you can see through it, but you're not supposed to have the eye.
well, I'm looking forward to that podcast.
Oh, baby, I should do it.
I think we'll both wear eye patches.
Wow,
All right. We're going to go through this together. I'm there for you.
I'm counting on you.
Which eye is it in 2 weeks?
The right one.
Okay, I got to make sure I cover the right one. And so the following Saturday, you're talking like December 2nd, or I don't know what that is, 3rd. Okay. And then in the month of December, the other one's done. So by New Year's, you're like a new person.
So one of Terry's uncles did cataract surgery, but for some reason it didn't work. Now he had to do retina surgery.
Oh,
So now
similar quick 10-minute procedure.
he's got that thing like a pirate thing to cover the eye.
Mm-hmm.
We're visiting him over there, and he had the patch over here on the cheekbone, right? I said, "So what's that for?" He says, "Well, protect the eyes." Well, that's not protecting the eyes, protecting your cheekbone. Put it on, protect your eye. He's like, he's so funny.
You got between that and the COVID mask. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Too much.
I'm experiencing this from your perspective. Like this is going to be incredible for you.
Yeah, and then we really shouldn't do a podcast in your new kitchen until I have the eye
So you
working,
can see it.
so I can see it. I want
Yeah.
to appreciate it.
Yeah, I understand. I do.
I do, yeah.
What I might do is be in the kitchen, but set up with just a big sheet backdrop.
You know what
And
I've
then we'll do
noticed?
and then we'll do like the reveal. I'll push a button and the sheet will drop.
So the room that you're in now, is that a kitchen room or what's that?
This is the kitchen.
So where's your coffee? I haven't seen you with coffee in a while.
Well, you know what? Because I had coffee earlier, and now it's empty and clean. We're kind of close there. And I just wasn't feeling a second cup of coffee. Also, when we're done here, I'm going to pick up Sean and Elsie, my niece and nephew. We're going out to breakfast this morning.
You know what? I
So
like that. You take them for breakfast often. That's awesome.
yeah, we do a lunch or a dinner or a breakfast every 2 weeks. It's one time in their lives. They're juniors and seniors in high school.
Uncle Mike, tell us a story. Uncle Mike, tell us a story. Come on, Uncle Mike, tell us a story.
So yeah, so I had a busy, crazy work day yesterday, and Elsie had texted me saying, "Do you mind getting us at like 12:30 instead of 12 because I want to volunteer doing something," which I haven't heard. I said, I got to work all day. Let's do breakfast on Sunday. So we got an overcast, rainy day. I'm going to go pick him up. We'll go to breakfast. I'll hear about whatever she was volunteering for. Quite a kid. She's quite a young adult.
How old are they?
She's 16 and 18. And 11th and 12th grade.
So the parents are both living.
No, so their father, they lived with their dad. Their mom was my sister, who died 9 years ago.
I didn't see that.
Wow. They only had one sibling, and this is my niece and nephew. For those are my sister's kids, which makes it even more special that we get to do this.
I know. Wow.
So yeah, they were 7 and 9 when my sister died, or 7 and 9 when their mother died. Imagine that. Like I was 55 when my mother died. I think about that. Like I had her a long time.
What's her name? Jenny?
Elsie and Sean are my niece and nephew.
Oh, your sister.
Betsy.
Betsy, that's right. Yeah, Betsy. Yeah.
That's just funny you bring that up. I was just talking about. Well, this might be this is a big topic. We'll do this next time. I had one of my clients, Rockland Trust Bank. I do some speaking with them and some presentations. We talked about this briefly, but maybe we'll do a deeper dive next week because there's a lot to this. But they asked me to present on grief,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I remember joking like, as a motivational speaker, I don't get asked to speak about grief very often. But as Richard Branson always said, when offered an opportunity, say yes and then figure it out. So I said, absolutely, I can present on grief. And I started to do a really deep dive to research because the presentation was a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it was the day before Sean and Kate got married. My nephew Sean is one Sean, but Lynn's son Sean, and same spelling, got married. So it was just a few weeks ago. But the research I was doing for this and my own personal experience of grief through research and grief to present it was incredibly powerful. I don't want to rush it because there's some really cool stuff, but my sister came up a lot through this whole, it's been 9 years, but it came up a lot through this research about grief. Also, it had just been the 9th anniversary of her death 3 days before this presentation. So there was a lot going on, and it was really powerful. And I don't want to rush it here, but well, let me look at our time. I keep time.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're at 31 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. So I remember that you were asking me about you were speaking on that grief. Says, is there such thing as a good joke to open up with a grief talk?
I think we both agreed no.
Well, I could have come up with some, but I just didn't want to because I didn't want to get you in trouble.
Well, I would like you to because they've asked me to kind of present on this kind of again. And I said, this is powerful information. People need to hear about this. I mean, just quickly, the whole, I don't think there's a more universal emotion than grief. It's something we all experience and live. And ironically, the older we get, the more we experience it, but no one's talking about it. And let me promise, this needs to be discussed. This needs to be talked about. It's amazing. And so I impressed that upon them. Let's do this again in February or March. So you got a couple of months to come up with a joke.
So anyway, I probably won't do a grief joke, but I put a thing on Facebook the other day that I was looking to find a new home for this dog. Because so now people are saying, "Hey, tell me about the dog." Says, "Well, just let me know when you want to come and get it because I have to make sure that the neighbors aren't home. I have to jump over the fence to get it." Do you have a dog, or have you ever had a dog?
I've never been a dog person. We had a dog growing up for a very short time. We were kind of a cat family, and cats are just easy. My lifestyle definitely does not support dog ownership because I'm just always on the run and moving. But and I'm not a dog person, but there's a little part of me that thinks like it'd be fun to be a dog person if I had the time and the lifestyle around taking care of a dog. It's a big commitment.
Yeah. So my neighbor next door, his wife passed away. He had a dog, right? And the dog was awesome. It was like a Doberman.
Oh,
what's a Lassie? What type of dog is a Lassie?
Collie.
Oh, so it was a mix of the two, the Collie and a Doberman.
Collie and a Doberman.
So one time I came home from the store and I had a couple cases of water in the back seat, in the middle of the back seat. So I had to reach into the car, and so half of my body was in the car. And all of a sudden I feel something in my rear end. It was a dog. And when I saw the dog, it looked like a Doberman. So I said, "What the heck?" And I hit my head on the ceiling of the car. But anyway, the dog was awesome, really awesome. And his wife passed away. So then after a while, he was alone. And after a while, he started dating somebody. So he was going to his girlfriend's house and he was staying there at night. And from my house, which right next door, we could hear the dog crying all night long.
Oh, because he left the dog home, yeah.
Yeah, because the dog was always, before that, his wife was always home, so the dog was never alone.
Right.
And it was so hard. It's like,
yeah, right. I mean, it's a commitment. And if your lifestyle doesn't support dog ownership, then you probably shouldn't do it.
So one day we could actually hear that from our house. We could hear the dog crying.
Oh.
So one day I went outside and I had my phone. I clicked on the recorder thing, and I listened to the dog crying, and I recorded it. So the next
and sent it to your neighbor?
Well, the next day I saw him. I said, "Hey, can I show you something?" He goes, "Yeah, what's up?" I says, "Well, I want you to listen to this." And I went to the recording. Listen, I'm playing it for him. He goes, what the heck is that? I says, that's Buddy crying when you're not home. He does that every night. And sometimes it goes on most of the night. He says, what? So I just want you to know that because I know that you don't know because you're not here, but it's really heartbreaking, man. It's wow.
Wow, that must have really been
It was tough.
impactful for him.
It was tough on him, yeah. And then after that, the dog actually passed away. He got sick and passed away, but crazy. Wow.
Let's wrap this up before Zoom wraps us. So we're over 35 minutes. What do you got going on today? Open house, selling some real estate?
No, I did the open house yesterday. Today, Terry is moving out of the office that she was renting, so I gotta go get some stuff out of there, some furniture.
Moving around, good.
And I'm not the best. I'm not the best furniture mover guy anymore. I used
Better
to.
than nothing. You're better than nothing.
Well, I don't know.
That's up for her to decide. Ask her 5 hours from now. Hey, was I better than nothing? Nope.
And right now, the Buccaneers are playing. They're starting at 9:30. I gotta see if I can catch the game. I'm not sure.
Germany, yeah. Cool. I gotta go find a breakfast place.
I told you about the guy that worked with me with us at the Data General in Southborough. I think I told you this story. Every time some of the ladies there that knew everybody's birthday, they must have got it from personnel or something.
Yep.
When it was somebody's birthday, they all get together and they buy cake, and during the break time,
Oh, nice.
they'd sing happy birthday and we all have cake. So we had a German guy that was working there. I think his name was Hans or something like that. So they said, hey, we got to get a cake for Hans. So oh, yeah, so we all chipped in. I says, hey, why don't we sing happy birthday in German? That'll make him feel welcome. And he said, well,
Nice,
yeah. I says, I'm from Europe. I can show you how to do it. So now I actually wrote it down, the happy birthday song in German.
Oh, you did?
And I made copies. I says, everybody, we have to rehearse it a couple of times so it sounds good. We don't want to read it. We want to be able to sing it. And then during the time, hey, Hans, come here. So he comes over to the break room. And we all started singing, Haben Schlieder, Dankenseiter, Haben Schlieder, Dankenseiter, Haben Schlieder, Fräulein Hans, Haben Schlieder, Dankenseiter, right?
You remember this. That's hysterical.
So he's looking at everybody like crazy. So one of the ladies says, hey, what do you think about that? We sang that in German. He goes, that was not German. So everybody looked at me and says, well, it sounded German to me. I just made up those words. But then afterwards, when he realized that when I told him that story that I made up the words, he goes, you are a funny guy, Tony. Very funny.
So now you're going to go take that listening ear and go listen to the Buccaneers broadcast in German. That's going to be interesting.
Ouch.
Wow.
So you didn't catch the last Buccaneers game, did you?
I did not.
So they played the Rams last year, the Rams for the Super Bowl. The Rams got them right at the last second, right? So the Buccaneers were playing, but they weren't playing that well. And Tom was doing some great throws, but some of the guys weren't catching the balls. Whatever. I don't know whose fault it is. But anyway, it was 44 seconds left, and we have to go 65 yards to score to win. And Brady pulled it off, man. It was amazing.
Anybody can. It's him.
Yeah, you know how he goes, I think, where he throws to the sideline so that the guys would go out of the sideline and then they stop the clock. And then he threw one, maybe from the 10-yard, threw one into a guy, one of the Buccaneers, inside his end zone. But the football hit his helmet, and he didn't catch it. So then he had one play left, and Brady did it, man. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody could, that's him.
So now.
Well, enjoy the day. Enjoy the week.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy the move.
The move. Yeah, it's just a small thing.